Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So it's not usually me that does the roundup on a Friday morning, bringing you all of the news to sort of end the week on that we've seen just before the Blizzard offices close for the week and everybody starts preparing for the Halloween event. Before then, we have a few stories that we want to go through, some to do with the Mercy changes, a new Genji skin with some more information from the Overwatch League, and also just to finish on, another Overwatch ripoff slash clone, whatever you want to call it, has kind of surfaced. And I need to highlight this because it's actually quite cool to look at, and it's just one of those things that you can't believe somebody's done it. We have a lot to get through, so I'm going to get started. We start with news on Mercy. Now, Mercy has received a nerf on the PTR. As most of you know, a lot of people have an opinion on it. I'll go over mine in a second, but one of the changes that a lot of Mercy players didn't like that was on the PTR was the removal of the bunny hop. Now, the bunny hop was sort of a skill set that some Mercies could use where, as they were guiding Angel in, they could make it so they could glide past the person they were healing and essentially fly around at a little bit more pace and momentum than they were before. So your movement is a lot more quicker, and it's also harder to hit you. I'll try and get some footage of EVA doing this on screen as we're saying this, but as you're seeing on screen, the movement is pretty crazy on New Mercy currently, and that was one of the nicer factors that Mercy players really liked. This has been removed, and like a lot of things that have been in the PTR with Mercy, some players weren't necessarily happy with it. I think some of the changes are warranted, some are a little bit harsh, but the removal of bunny hop is a pretty interesting one. Geoff Goodman actually responds to this, and he says, "Let me give some extra context for these changes. The first part is essentially saying that these changes won't come out with the Halloween update. There are some things on the PTR that will do, which is essentially to do with ultimates being instantly used by Lucio and Reinhardt instead of when they hit the ground. So if you're Lucio, you try and break it down in the end, you get sniped out of it, you lose your ultimate. It's not when you hit the ground, it's when you press that Q button." He also says, and this is really important, these Mercy changes are purely something that we're experimenting with, and there's likely to be more changes coming to try out. He also said that it was a bug with Mercy's Guardian Angel momentum when it wasn't slowed correctly. It was frustrating for some Mercy players, obviously they reported it as a bug. They fixed it, hence why it's not on the PTR, but we're looking to see if there's any way to include some of what people enjoyed about this bug as new functionality for her. To reiterate, these changes aren't hitting live anytime soon. These are just things we want to try out now, and they are likely to change. And this is the important thing that I think a lot of people are forgetting. This is the PTR. This is where Blizzard takes ideas and practices with them. As somebody rightly so highlighted on the Overwatch subreddit, the reaction to the Mercy changes is exactly why Blizzard aren't going to put more changes on the PTR, certainly from more of an experimental kind. The PTR used to be where they would throw out tons of changes on different heroes and go, "Oh, let's see what we like, see what we don't like." And it was really good for like a content creating perspective, of course, because there's more to talk about. We could be like, "I like this doesn't necessarily work though." And now and again you would see PTR changes completely be dropped. There was something with Mercy that was dropped last year and that kind of thing. So I think there is an element of people assuming that stuff on the PTR is just going to go to live. Like 80% of the time it does anyway, but it is a practice test round. They are trying stuff out. Certainly the Mercy that is on the PTR now, I very much doubt would go into the live game as is. So Geoff Goodman essentially saying that nothing's final with this Mercy thing, they're just trying stuff out. I said it in a video that's going to go out this weekend or like on Monday, but I'd much rather have Blizzard taking Mercy, taking all of the other aspects out of her, like completely nerfing her, that she's just her foundations again, and then sort of putting in what they like about Mercy, what they find problematic, trying to work out what a problem is, and going from there instead of trying to balance it some other way. It kind of worked for Roadhog, so I'd like to see it here. Geoff Goodman also said that this is part of the problem with the way that it was working. It was working as a bug since it was removing all of your air resistance. If you got knocked to the air, you went way too far. But they're going to find a solution with similar functionality without it being a bug. I also really wanted to highlight something that Geoff Kaplan said when somebody on the Battle.net forum said the balancing team needs replacing. He says, "Make a productive post either clearly stating an issue or making a productive suggestion. We won't tolerate demands of people being replaced on these forums, see in 30 days. And I feel really bad for the Overwatch team. Like, I don't necessarily agree with the Mercy changes wholly, but people saying that like you should be out of a job to anybody like that in a creative standpoint is just not really worth it, I suppose. It's not very nice. And I think Geoff Kaplan and other people have so much more to work on that they don't need to deal with essentially idiots like this. Next up, we have the Dallas Fuel Genji skin, which no doubt some of you have seen so far. Dallas Fuel is essentially the envious team. They bought out that slot in Dallas. They've announced their brand, and they've also showed us a Genji skin as well. For those who don't know, Shanghai Dragons was the other Overwatch League team that revealed their brand and their name, and they also showed us a Maze skin that we'll be able to get at some point. They haven't said necessarily when, An Overwatch League representative said that we were honoured to collaborate with the Overwatch development team on Team Envy to announce the Dallas Fuel's visual identity with a custom Genji skin. We look forward to sharing more information about Overwatch League's affiliate in-game items in the coming months. So essentially what each Overwatch League team is going to get is a skin for what they're going for. Now, there's not much else to say other than this skin is really cool, but I also wanted to highlight Jacob Wolf, who is a reporter for ESPN, said that Kronk Esports, I don't know how to, Kronk? I'm just going to say Kronk. They filed for trademark for Los Angeles Gladiators, apparently, meaning that one of the LA teams is going to be potentially called Gladiators. Now, this already would make an amazing skin for Reinhardt. So that would be where I put my money on what that skin may be. I would assume that the London team with Cloud9 would be a Tracer skin, so again, look out for that. Next up are some new social features which are on the Battle.net desktop app. It's in beta, this stuff was data mined earlier this week, there's social tabs and profiles and all that jazz, but the main thing that I want to highlight is appearing offline. Appearing offline is something that people have been asking for quite some time. It means that you can play Overwatch and hide from certain people that you may not want to duo with, for example. I think it's just a nice little tool to have in Battle.net. It's not much news than that, but I think it's certainly worth highlighting for those that don't know what's going on. And lastly, before this gets too long, I want to show off Heroes of Warfare, which is obviously a game that hasn't been influenced by Overwatch whatsoever. Looking at the character designs, you can't really notice much of a difference. There's no characters that look like Tracer or Genji or anything like that. Certainly when you start looking at screenshots of in-game, you start to notice some similarities with the heroes, but also what map that you're playing on. The Reinhardt to me looks the best in this game. I actually quite like the orange sort of skin. And it also kind of reminded me that it would be cool with Reinhardt skins having different coloured barriers, but I think that would be far too much. But I do like the orange barrier that seems to be working with it. But some of these heroes, man, are just complete carbon copies. And apparently it's the first ever mobile FPS MOBA 2017, so there's that as well. Always fun in games to see this kind of thing. But yeah, so that's everything. Essentially, the Mercy changes on the PTA aren't final. We're likely to see more changes coming through, especially around the Bunny Hop. There's some new Overwatch League skins coming out, with Los Angeles Gladiators looking like a likely team to be announced soon as well. There's new social features on the Battle.net Blizzard app, and Heroes of Warfare is certainly nothing like Overwatch. And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Do let us know what you think of the Mercy changes, what you think about the Genji skin, what Overwatch League skins you would like to see announced on certain heroes, McCree maybe, Soldier, Diva as well for the Korean SEAL team, and also what you think of the Heroes of Warfare game. Let us know in the comments below, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, take care, we'll see you then.